In March 2012, about the middle of the month, I went and bought me a German Shepherd puppy. And that afternoon, my husband and I came out here and we were sitting on the swing, and I had my daughter-in-law on speakerphone. And while we were talking, all of a sudden, I hear this vocal come from my grandmother's house. And everybody hears it, even my daughter-in-law on the speakerphone, and they all begin to ask me, what is that? And I said, I don't know. I said, it's not a cat, it's not a coyote. I said, it's not a wolf. I don't know what it is. I mean, I had heard it before one time with my son one night about 11 o'clock. And a few minutes went by, and here comes that deep guttural yell that sounded like a man that roared, being disemboweled alive. And I've got it took me several years, but I was able to capture that vocal, and I want to share it with you to let you know what we were hearing running up in our yard. And my husband said, well, it's about time for us to go in the house. I said, yeah, I think we ought to, too, because the last time it let out a vocal, it was right there on the edge of my yard on the wood line. So we got up, and I had been watching some Bigfoot shows, and they said if you mimic the Bigfoots, that they will answer back to you. Well, before I went in the house, I made out a couple of yells. And sure enough, for 2 weeks, I did that. I'd go out every afternoon at the same time and make the yells. And I would get responses, too. Well, on March 31st, 2012, about 2 weeks later, my husband was down up under the hill watering the cattle. And there was a severe thunderstorm warning coming up, and it had record-breaking lightning strikes in it. And being raised in the country, we always look for the clouds because we don't have civil defense sirens up here. So he hears me come out the kitchen door, and when he did, he mimicked their yell, but it was real low, and I got tickled at him. I said, you call that a yell? I'll give you a yell. And believe me, I do not need a microphone. And I let it go as loud as I could. And no sooner than I did that, there was not just one, two, possibly three on the wood line outside on the other side of my chicken house. And as that, and they started yelling and screaming nonstop. I mean, it sounded horrible. I mean, it was so loud. The lung capacities were just so big, and it sounded like standing beside a freight train with them blowing their horn. But it just charged the air, and it vibrated your chest, making you feel like you had you was having heart palpitations. And I was sitting there. I said, "Come on, let's go in the house. Let's go in the house." He said, "No, no, no." I said, "Come on, let's go in the house." He said, "No." And I said, "Well, I'm going to go get the gun." He said, "No, don't go get the gun." So I run in the house. Then I run upstairs, check on my puppy, and he was just having a fit up in the bathroom. Came back down. They were still hollering outside. I think they hollered for about 10 minutes that night. And so I go back outside and I yell, "Come on in the house, come on in the house." "No, I'm not coming." I guess it's a man thing. I had to throw that one in. But so I run back in the house, and I said, what I do? You know, I was just so frightened. And I called my mother, and I said, "Mama, go outside on your back patio and listen to this over here." I said, "These things are screaming. They're nonstop over here, and they're so loud." So I hang up with her, and no sooner than I hang up with her, I'm going back outside, and they're starting to calm down. They're not yelling as much. And so after that, I was so frightened that I lived in fear for a year. I would not go outside unless somebody was with me, and we had night or day. And one of us had to have a gun, or either both of us had a gun. But I would not go outside. I mean, I had paralyzing fear, and I overcome that fear. I had to. And so Until the next clip.